Hello, my first day in a new job. My idea, stroke task, is to kind of start all over again at the beginning. And it's a great big ball of string, and I just don't know where to go in and either put my finger in and wiggle it about, or try and get a strand and pull it out. So the only thing I can do, I think, is I think we can turn the screen off. No, it won't turn off. Go. I think the best way in would be to say, having kind of sorted everything out with Richard, life comes along and I think we'll blow it all apart again. And this is kind of what life is and what life does. Should I talk about our reactions to it? No, I'll just kind of explain, because I've opened up the website and told Richard he's welcome back as long as he never puts his brain ideas anywhere that I might see them. But now it looks like, because of a happening yesterday, I'm going to kind of go back to opening up the series of me talking about the brain and life and everything, and use the website as a kind of a backup source. And we'll touch on subjects that Richard will absolutely desperately want to comment on. And this is half for Richard and half for explaining how life goes, but although when I'm explaining how life goes, it won't be anything new to you, because you know how life goes. It comes up with these strange things. So, although it was going so well and seemed to be sorted, now it's completely unsorted vis-a-vis Richard, because we're going to run into trouble. So I've already got to start this video with a warning to Richard that if he does put anything of his brain ideas anywhere that I can see them, this series stops. I'll just close down the website again and close down YouTube, because that's what happened last time, and it's the only way. It's what I seem to do, so it's probably what I will do again. On life, should we go with, but you can never be sure. You can't be sure what you'll do. I can say exactly what I'll do, but I can't be sure exactly what I will do until I have done it. Right. As I say, huge subject. How do we know? How do I get into it? There's so many little, everything's a door for me, and I can see doors everywhere to start going in, but they don't have any particular meaning. I suppose I should say something like, for people that don't watch television. No, that don't work. That don't work. I think I'll go with dividing our lives up into thirds. First 30 years, middle 30 years, last 30 years. Obviously that makes 90, which is quite optimistic, but statistically it's probably not far off the mark nowadays. First 30 years are a bit of a blur. It's kind of our youthful exuberance just rolls forward with a great crashing and banging and smashing and happenings. The middle 30 years might have more organisation to them if plans have been made and discipline has been instilled and order has been ordered and things happen more regimented like. But of course they're still quite wild because so much life is happening that we can't control anywhere near everything, and so it's still quite out of control. Let's say in our last third of our lives, it's possible to get a bit more order going in retirement. Less things happen, but it's possible for it to be boring because you've lived 2/3 of your life in a state of fighting, maybe just fighting to stay upright in the first third, and fighting for order, isn't it, really? But in your last third, it's possible to get order. Now, the question would be, is that a good thing or not? Because we're always accepting that people are born different like. And some people have enjoyed their life of disorder because that's the way they were born. They were kind of genetically predisposed to kind of enjoy the hurly-burly of it all. There are people, say more like me, who don't like that disorder so much. Can be called a control freak because I would prefer to control the order, not for my own rewards, as it were. It isn't that I'm trying to make... all I'm trying to do is calm things down so I'm settled in whatever time I'm in. As I say, some people don't want to, or don't seem to want to feel settled. Or don't want that amount of control, or don't have the need for that amount of control. I think a problem arises in the last third of life for both types. A type like me can get stuffingly boring. Stamp collecting, how about that as just I don't do it, but as an example of what I could say fill my time with. I could be a fanatical philatelist and be very happy doing it, collecting matchboxes, whatever it might be. That's a kind of control freaky type thing. You can get your stamps or your matchboxes and put them in albums or display cabinets or whatever people do. And you're making an amount of order that you're content with. But what I see from out there now is that the hurly-burly has hurly-burlied itself into madness. The amount of non-control going on out there, for me, is frightening. I can imagine that I would not like to have anything to do with it. But the people coming from, let's say, 60 years of this madness into retirement, which often comes at the same time of the children who were part of the madness having grown up enough to be independent, find themselves with possibly no job to be mad in and no parenting to be mad in, and a world which is effectively stunningly boring for them. What comes to my mind now, I might as well go with it, is my favourite bookshop in Singapore. Well, it was then, where you go in, and I'd always go to the left, because over to the right, where all the people were, was at least a third of the shop, maybe even getting on for half, was self-help books. And they were mad for them. Over on my side, it was kind of the rest of literature, but a lot of Eastern type literature. Okay, let's do it this way. The self-help books were to make you powerful and dominant and go-getting in business. My sort of Eastern reading self-help books were how to make your life relaxing, let's say, out of business. I've got a good reading in how to be cool. I don't have much reading in how to be go-getting in business. So I can do retirement quite well. And I obviously added to the fact that I'm well naturally disposed to it. And I think I can probably give advice on how to do retirement well, seeing I've done it for the last 10 years as well, so I am practiced. I have got the book reading, the natural temperament, and the experience. Because it's a problem for a lot of people who will be retiring now and soon to get into a world which is so immensely and vastly different to where they've come from. And they will feel tremendously lost. Here I should put television in, but I've just noted the time and think that's probably enough of an enigmatic start to what could well be a new series. In fact, I might even just turn the camera off and turn it back on again and keep going, because I feel hot, so I'll do that. Yeah, 15 minutes is kind of enough for an episode, and if I put them up in if I make a playlist, we might do it that way. But things in my life and other people's life, I don't think ever work out that way. If it's disturbed, obviously they won't be in a playlist on YouTube. They just will be nowhere. We'll just see what happens. So I'll sign off from this, which is my first day in my new job. Bye.